because you may have seen some of the people who have been meditating before was walking meditation. The reason why we introduced that is because to be able to sit down all morning, all afternoon, all evening is just very tough on your poor body, especially some of you who I've known for many years and are getting older and older and older. So it's tough. So we try and alternate between walking meditation and sitting meditation. When your body gets a bit stiff, you get up to do some walking meditation. And just like the general principle of sitting meditation, you've got to find a nice, comfortable, simple path. So you find it in a corridor or someplace in the grounds or in here, or a little place where you can just walk backwards and forwards. If it has got two walls on either end, that's nice and easy because you know when you have to stop. Or if you just put some shoes, one shoe on one end, one shoe on the other end, just to mark out your path, that sometimes helps. And the nice thing about walking meditation, you finish up where you started. You don't get anywhere. Isn't that wonderful? That is so profound. Just like in life, you begin life with no hair and no teeth and a nappy. That's pretty good. Wow. So it's a very powerful little teaching for us. And so we start at one end, and then we just walk at a natural pace. You don't have to try to walk slowly, or try to walk fast, just at a natural, comfortable pace. In some traditions, they really develop the slow walking. And you see in the meditation halls, they have competitions. Who can walk the slowest? Now please don't do that. Especially when you're having dinner at a buffet. Otherwise you walk so slow. By the time you get to the end, the buffet is over. So just be sensible about it, do it naturally. And usually you look down maybe 2 meters in front of you. You don't need to get a tape measure to find out what 2 meters is. Roughly. And what that means is you're not looking to the left, you're not looking to the right or above or anywhere else, just 2 meters in front of you, which gives you a feeling of safety. You know, that if there's any obstacle in the way, you'll be able to see it and just take avoidance strategies. And also, you should not do walking meditation with your eyes closed, otherwise you'll fall off the balcony and hit your head. That will not be very good. So just eyes open, 2 meters in front, it gives you safety. You get to the other end, you turn around, you walk back again. Now what do you do while you're walking? Just like I mentioned with ordinary meditation. Number one, present moment awareness. Just being here with the step you're taking right now. Not walking thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, what you're going to do when you get back, all these plans and problems which you have. No, just be in the present moment. No past, no future. Like you've left the world. And all you have to worry about is the step you're taking right now. And feel that step rather than thinking about it. You don't need to give it a name. Just develop silence in the present moment. That's number one. And then afterwards, you can start to be aware of the feeling of the tiles or the carpet or the wood on your feet. So it brings you into the present moment, the feeling in that part of the body which is anything. And when the foot moves up from the floor, which part of the foot
moves up first? Is it your big toe, or your little toe, or the ball of your foot, or your heel? Which leaves the floor first, and which leaves the floor last? And when your foot goes up, does it go straight up, and then horizontal, and then straight down? Or does it do some fancy up and down movement? Find out how you walk. And what you're doing is putting all your awareness into the movement of your feet and your lower legs as you are walking. It focuses your attention on a very small area, and soon you get very peaceful and also very happy. It's a wonderful thing to do. For those of you who, when you walk, can't stop thinking, there is this trick, which is very effective. You use a mantra. A mantra is a group of words which you say to yourself over and over, a simple set of words. And for walking meditation, you do, as you move your left foot, I'm going to say Bahasa. Your left foot, you say Mati. Right foot, Pasti. Mati, Pasti. Mati, Pasti. In English, I will die. That's for sure. That's for sure. Mati, Pasti. Is that right? Mati is I will die, that's die, death. Pasti is sure, that's right, yeah. So it's Mati, Pasti, yeah. Yeah, no, but I use my left foot first. I will die, that's for sure. I will die. Now what that actually does, that shuts up all your thoughts for starting. And you're not worried about all of your, even if you've got illnesses, you're going to die anyway, so get it over and done with. You know, one of those things. You know, people have this bucket list these days of things to do before they die. I've got my death before I do all those things because I'm too lazy to do anything. So, I will die, that's for sure, I will die, that's for sure. Now, you all laugh when I said that because people think it's a joke. You try it. Yeah, you think it's funny first of all, but then you know that is the surest thing that you can know. No matter what religion or philosophy you have, you all know that that is absolute truth. I will die, that's for sure, I will die, that's for sure, I will die, that's for sure. So you come up against a little bit of fear, but just keep on walking through that fear, and after a while say, great, I have nothing to worry about. All my debts, haha, my kids can worry about that. All my problems, haha, they all disappear when you're dead. Isn't that wonderful? You've got nothing to worry about because you're going to die. It's actually not fearful at all. It's this wonderful sense you can let go and detach from everything. And what that does, it gives you incredible amounts of peace. People are afraid of death, but when you understand it, it's a wonderful sense of freedom. It means all these things which you worry about in this world, you've put in the right perspective, they're not that important. So that's what you can do. It actually shuts you up. Now, after I gave my talk, a lot of people lined up asking questions and taking photographs. I don't know why you take photographs of a fat old monk. Not only that, because I do go to Indonesia a lot. Last was it July, we were in Borobudur, or Yogyakarta, doing a retreat, and I heard that they're trying to lessen the number of flash photographs of that ancient monument, because the archaeologists and the scientists are finding out that flash photography actually degrades the stone. And it also degrades me as well. So I decay. The more flashes. So, when you're thinking, when they're all asking about how do I stop thinking in meditation, what can I do to stop thinking? Now, the instructions I've given so far are just like an overview. There's lots of other things to say about meditation. And the ability to stop the mind thinking is so important. At least to lessen it, so you don't go thinking all over the place. One little technique which I've developed, which I mentioned to one retreatant, is very helpful. It's based on the Buddha's teachings of substitution. Instead of thinking about your problems, instead of thinking about the future, the past, or whatever else you occupy your brain with, when you don't really need to, we can do, again, another mantra. There's many mantras you can use. Over in Indonesia, they have the greeting Namo Buddhaya, so I use that. But do you use that a lot in Malaysia, Namo Buddhaya? Sometimes. But I know most people, they know the Tibetan mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. So I use that one instead. So what you do, when you start meditating, close your eyes, relax the body, just try and get into the present moment in silence. If it's not working, give that a try first of all, the simple method. If that is not working, and you've got lots of thoughts, then block out those thoughts with reciting to yourself, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Do you know what that means? If you know what it means, it doesn't work. If you don't know what it means, it doesn't work. You just don't start thinking about it. So let's assume you don't know what it means. Om Mani Padme Hum. You say that to yourself for maybe 1 minute, just reciting it over and over and over again, to block out that train of thought. Now that will drive you crazy if you keep doing that for 5 or 10 minutes. So the next thing you do after 1 minute of reciting it to yourself, you start to put spaces between the words. Om, space. Mani, Padme, Hum, Om, Mani, Padme, Hum. Small spaces at first. And if the thought comes in that space, you close the space up. But if it's little space, Om, Mani, Padme, Hum, Om. If no thoughts come up, then after maybe another minute, lengthen that space. Om, Mani, Padme, Hum. And if thoughts come up again, close the space down. So little by little, you lengthen the space as your mind starts to settle down. If you lengthen that space between the words too soon, close them up a bit to block out the thoughts. And little by little you adapt that space to suit how calm you are. Really calm, lengthen the space. Lengthen a bit more. Try it out, lengthen it a bit more. And if you are peaceful all that time, wonderful. Carry on lengthening it. Thought comes up, close it down a little bit. And that way you can use and adapt this process to suit your brain, your mind. And when those spaces are really long, you don't need any more Oms or Manis or Padmes anymore. It's done its job. It's blocked out the thoughts and introduced silence gradually as you become more calm until you don't need the words anymore. That is a very helpful little tool which you can develop. If you don't like Om Mani Padme Hum, you can use Namo Buddhaya, Na, space, Mo, space, Bud, space, Da, space, Ga, or any other mantra which you like. So that's a way we can try and get rid of the thoughts. If that doesn't work, what you can do is to go out into nature. Now this, I haven't explored the grounds here, if there are any grounds, but there's plenty of nature around this complex. If you go walking, and don't wear your shoes, so you can feel the ground on your feet. Go out and get wet. Feel the water from the rain on your hair and face. Feel the wind, feel nature. Open your ears to the sound of any birds around. Because when you start feeling, you don't think anymore. You become aware of nature. Just the feelings which surround us all the time. It's amazing, when you're thinking, you don't know what's happening. So become more sensitive by taking off shoes, taking off hats, taking off jackets, and just feeling the weather. It's not going to kill you. It's not that cold. You see, it's not like Iceland in the winter. But just feel things. And when you start feeling things and listening to sounds, again, it stops the thoughts. And it becomes quite fascinating just how much is going out there in nature. So those are ways to stop. If that doesn't work, you can imagine just what happens when you watch the TV. It's amazing. On the aircraft, I'm sitting in there quietly, and I watch all these other people watching the screens. And I look at the expression on their face. And it's some horror movie. And they go, oh, what an aircraft. It's not really a movie. It's not happening, it's just a fantasy. And it reminded me when I used to go to movies as a kid. Sometimes, some villain, some bad guy was creeping up behind someone else. And someone in the audience would shout out, hey, look behind you! That's stupid, isn't it? Look, that movie was shot years ago. The person you're shouting at is probably dead by now. But still, we shout out, we get involved in the movie. And I've seen that with people watching football matches as well. You may be watching Manchester United here in Kuala Lumpur, and you shout, pass the ball, at the TV. You know, they can't hear you. The TV is one way. And if it was two-way, there's no way they're going to listen to you in a crowd of a few tens of thousands of people. But people still do that. Why? Because the thing with the TV, it sucks you in. With the movie, you think you're right in the movie. That's why, when the lovers meet, oh, that's so sweet. It's only a movie. I don't know this. One of my disciples, she's a Thai girl, but she's Thai Chinese. And she once told me that her mother, who's in Bangkok, once a week she'd go to Chinese movies. Now once a week she'd come back with her eyes all red. She'd be crying and crying and crying. Because in those days, all Chinese movies were boy meets girl. The alternative ones were girl meets boy. And somehow the Imperial Army gets involved or something happens. They almost get together. But something happens and they never do. Apparently in those days, Chinese movies never have a happy ending. This disciple, she asked him, why do you do that every week? You know they're not going to have a happy ending. Well, I like crying. People are crazy. And anyway, it's only a movie. What are you crying about? So we like to get involved. And that same process that we get involved in a movie or a TV program or in some football or sports event on the TV, where we go shouting at the players, pass the ball, kick it, That is why we also get involved in our thoughts. We don't have that sense of separation. We get involved. So it's wonderful if you could contemplate why you get involved in movies, horror movies, football matches, why you get involved. That's exactly the same reason why you get involved in your thoughts. If you could just separate yourself. It's just a movie, that's all. It is a football match. You know, it's probably already been played by the time you see it. Who cares? You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, the ball is round. So, don't get so involved. When you separate yourself, it's called detachment. No involvement. Not getting in there. Standing back and just watching it. And that's what we can do with our thoughts. Just stand back. Imagine putting a space between you and the thoughts. The thoughts are out here somewhere. And you, the watcher, the observer, is not in the thoughts, but is separated from them. You can just watch these thoughts as if they were someone else's. If you can separate yourself from them, it's very easy to let them go. It's once you're involved in them, that is when you can't stop them. Because you don't want to stop them. You're just enjoying yourself or torturing yourself. It's amazing how many people like worrying. People say, okay, come out and say, I'm really worried about what I've done. I'm really worried about my husband, my wife, my kids, my health. Well, let it go. No, I don't want to let it go. I like worrying about my kids, my husband, my wife. You like worrying. You like being afraid. That's the problem. That's why people, they get worried. They like worries. They've got nothing else to worry about. They watch a soap opera and worry. What's going to happen next week? If they have got enough problems in life, they're worrying about these made-up problems on the TV. If you haven't got enough fear, did you see that advertisement, a billboard on the way out here? Halloween. Apparently up in the hill over there, there must be some sort of program or something. They got a scary ghost exhibit up there or something. Are you afraid of ghosts? Everyone in Malaysia is afraid of ghosts, but still we pay good money to go and scare ourselves. What do you do that for? Because we like to be afraid. We like to be worried. That's the problem. So, please, in this meditation, okay, so no worries, no fear, keep yourself upright. When you go back home, you can worry yourself sick if you like, I don't care, but now here in this retreat, okay, no worry, no fear. Can you do that? Do you want to do that? Yes. Are you sure? Okay, separate yourself. Anything you're worried about is over here somewhere. I'm just watching from a distance, totally uninvolved. Just like sitting in the armchair at home, watching a movie on the screen. And you've got the remote control. Stop. Delete. So that's what one can do. So those are a few ways of dealing with your thoughts. Now we have the multicolored questions today. It's really exciting. I've never seen such an array. The pinks and greens and blues and roses. So what colour should we go for first? Green is good. Dear Ajahn, may I know how meditation can help us in day-to-day life? Thank you. It makes you rich. It makes you healthy. It makes you attractive. There was actually a movie someone said about what women really want or something. Was that a movie? All you need, you want to know what women want? Meditate and you can read their minds. Wouldn't that be great? Would you like to know what your boss is planning? Meditate and you can read their minds. Are you fed up with working? Meditate and you can find out what lottery numbers coming up next week. Then you don't need to work anymore, no more problems. No, seriously. How does it help us in day-to-day life? It's so easy. Look,
I gave the water simile this morning, and the other water simile which I give, which is now on Harvard Business School blog, and they do not acknowledge where it came from. Really, not quite right, but that's their colour. How heavy is a cup of water? Simile. After 1 minute, it starts to feel heavy. 2 minutes, I start to be in pain. 3 minutes, and I'm in agony, and I'm a very stupid monk. What should I do? It's starting to feel heavy now. What should I do when it starts to feel heavy? Put it down, so don't throw it away. Put it down. Rest your arm for maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds. And then you pick it up again. And actually, yeah, it feels lighter again, because I've rested. Now, this simile is your day-to-day life and your work. The meaning of stress is when life gets too heavy, you don't know how to put it down and rest. If life gets too burdensome, too many things to do, you get tired, put it down for goodness sake. Only for a few minutes. You pick up your problems, pick up the decisions you have to make, or your responsibilities afterwards. It's much easier to bear. Harvard Business School blog calls it an investment of half an hour at lunchtime. Investment, because that's business school, okay, they like that word. So what it means is asking people, at least at lunchtime, get out of the office, turn off your computer, do something, but put it down for half an hour. But they say, I can't, there's too many things to do. Exactly. Give yourself half an hour break, and afterwards your brain is so much more efficient. You get the next 3 hours work done in 2, and high quality as well. I'm going around teaching that in schools and universities because some of your kids work till late at night doing their assignments, and it's absolutely stupid. It comes a time you're so dull, you're just sitting at that screen. If you do type anything, it's rubbish. It's much better to put it aside. Relax, put down the cup. When you go back again, you're fresh, you have ideas, you get things done in a short amount of time. That also happens in people's offices as well. In the morning, maybe when they get to work after they've had a cup of coffee or whatever else it is, vitamin C, then they do some work. If they're really tired and stressed out, their output goes down and the quality is not that good. That's why an investment of time. How do we do that? Through meditation. That's how you let things go. Put them down. You're very skilled at de-stressing. As you never get to the point of stress, you start to feel tired, you put it down, rest. You know that's the best you can do. You get more work done that way, of higher quality. You never get tired, you never get stressed out. That's why I do so much in my life. I don't get stressed out. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing, meditation gets you to stop thinking or feeling. You become far more sensitive to your body, which means you know how to deal with health issues, and also with relationship issues. Meditation is so powerful. It works almost anything. That you can become a very successful, happy person. That's why Buddhism started this meditation business, but now so many other people are teaching it and studying it. You know, you just go to all these other silver methods, other methods. But this is, I guarantee, this is the original, the best, and the cheapest. It is. This is from the source. I've got a few people. You know that simile which, I said this last night, oh no, it's in the car. The simile of the hand, which I keep on saying, how big is the hand? If you hold it here, it's so big you can't see anything in the whole world. It's called obsession with your problems. You put it where it belongs at the end of your arm. It's still the same size hand, but now you have perspective. You can see so many other things in the world as well as your problem. That, I think, is in Open the Door of Your Heart, or one of the books somewhere. And you know that this retreat in Singapore, not retreat, this conference a couple of months ago, they were showing the latest in psychology techniques.
And this Jojo in Sydney has picked my technique and said, you put your hands in front of your eyes, and it means, you can't really see the problem. You put it at the end of your arms, and you can actually get free of all your problems. That's his main technique. He's teaching people, and they're becoming famous about this. It's charging people a lot of money. You heard it here first. The cheapest and the best. So meditation is really taking off the whole world. Hi Ajahn, you're awesome. This person must be enlightened. Great wisdom. I'm trying to get into the Guinness Book of Records as the most humble monk in the world. I always say, if you're humble, you must flaunt it. Thank you for coming down to Malaysia for this lovely retreat organised by the BGF. Thank you for the inspiring talks. I would love to ask that how can you cope daily? Life situations come, especially during the most stressful times. What do you do? If it's really stressful, remember, this too will pass. It never lasts very long. Even the stressful situation, when I was really sick in hospital with typhus fever, 3 or 4 weeks, not getting better at all. And my teacher came in. He took away all my worries and concerns. He came and said, Brother Wangsol, you're either going to get better or you're going to die. That's the only 2 options. Then he left. That takes away all your stress. It's going to pass. So you don't have to worry you're going to be sick forever. Oh, what a relief. So what are you stressed out about? Oh, when I go travelling, are you afraid of getting blown up at 30,000 feet in an aircraft explosion? I don't stress out about that. Remember the 3 benefits of dying at 30,000 feet? Number 1, free cremation. You don't have to pay any money for it, done on the spot, and your ashes are scattered. You don't have to go and pay a lot of money in this Nevada place to put an urn in there. It's already divided. Number 2 is your family. It costs a lot of money cremating your grandma or whoever else dies. It's not only free. If you die in an aircraft explosion, your family get insurance money out of it. They actually make money out of your death. Money is very hard to come by these days. You don't want your loved ones when you die to suffer financially. So if you die in an aircraft explosion, it's very nice. Oh, my family are not going to be having to pay all this money out. And last of all, the best benefit? If you die at 30,000 feet, it's so close to heaven. It's easy to go the rest of the way. They've got you almost up there. So that's how you don't stress out. You see the funny side of whatever happens in life. So, you find when you go home that your husband or your wife, when you're up here meditating, they're having an affair. What do? Great! I've got rid of him at last. And don't be jealous. That lady is such a rotten guy if he does that to you. That's the best torture you can give to that girl. Let her have that bad husband. They don't worry about it. Just let it happen. You can always see the good side of whatever happens to you in life, no matter what it is. You lose your job. Great! I don't have to go through that traffic in Kuala Lumpur in the morning to go to work. I don't have to sit on that desk. I can just relax. Isn't it wonderful when you're retrenched? You can enjoy yourself. You don't have the stress of going to work. Beautiful. Don't worry if you're a young man and your girlfriend dumps you. Now you can become a monk. Whatever. You can always see the good side of it. I don't know why people always see the bad side of life. See the good side of it, no matter what happens. Doesn't work out. It's the attitude. If you have a good attitude, you can deal with anything in life. This is the serious part of this little anecdote, or this series of anecdotes. It's not what life gives you, it's how you deal with it. It's the secret of happiness or the secret of suffering. Don't ever think that you have to get this, that, or that. You have to get rid of all these other things before you're happy. It's how you deal with cancer, how you deal with loss, how you deal with old age. That is the secret. It doesn't matter what you have to deal with. Anything, if you've got the right attitude, can be a source of happiness and peace, of wisdom and freedom. It's how you deal with life, not what life gives you. It'll be a late night if I carry on like this. I recently moved to our new house. At the back of our new house is a virgin forest. Every day, wild monkeys would go across our house looking for fruits and foods. As a compassionate Buddhist, is it okay to light firecrackers? Scare the monkeys away without hurting the harm of them? They can realise the present. That's terrible. This is a problem. If you move into the forest, you're moving into the area. So of course the monkeys will come. I don't know why people they keep on encroaching in places they really should be encroaching into. This is monkey land. So it's not Malaysia, it's monkey land. So sometimes people should do that. They should leave the monkeys to work. Because imagine, if people started building in around your house, taking a bit of your garden, a bit of your house every day, every day, every day, every day, how would you react? Poor monkeys. So, developers, a variety of developers here, please look after the virgin forest and don't go close to it, so that we can keep people away. So it's monkeys land. You got there, monkeys were there first. So monkeys win. I was in a relationship with a man from a different country, race and religion. This is interesting. What are you that for? Plenty of Malaysian men, Buddhists, and same race, Chinese. It just means there's no nice Chinese Buddhist men around. My parents were against it, but I didn't give up. I sacrificed a lot for him. Learned his language and culture. I was this sweet. And let's see where it goes to. I endured endless emotional abuse, and he even physically hit me a few times. After all this, I found out he cheated on me. That's what happens. Marry a nice Malaysian man. Chinese. They've got their high quality. You should know that. Buy a cheap car, it's going to break down. This is great. After 1.5 years together, he abandoned me and married another girl. I'm depressed and suicidal sometimes. I feel emotionally tortured every day. Memories both good and bad keep torturing me, even after 1 year breaking up. How can I move on and heal without having bitterness towards life? Just, quite frankly, one of the best ways is get a boyfriend, a nice guy. Because as soon as you get another guy, you forget all about the first one. You do. It totally disappears. So get out there. There's lots of nice guys around, but next time, this is my advice for young men and young women, or even middle-aged men and women. Girls, never go out and marry a rich man. Choose a poor one. Because they're still really nice, and they're very poor. They're very grateful that you know that you care about them. And when you get married, you can be absolutely sure they will never play around. They will never have a mistress, because no mistress will go out with a poor guy. You all know that mistresses, they don't love the guy, they love his wallet. They fall in love with his bank account. So if you marry a poor guy, you are sweet for the rest of your life. No worries at all. Guys, never marry a beautiful girl. Always marry an ugly one. Common sense. How the fuck I can understand this? If you marry a really hot chick, a really beautiful girl, you're going to be worried for the rest of your life. All the other guys will be looking at her, fancying her, and you'll always be jealous. You marry an ugly girl, you can go up on a tree for 9 or 10 days, there's nothing to worry about. No other guy will want her. So you can have a wonderful relationship with no worries at all. So, if you're not married yet as girls, don't go and buy expensive dresses and go to beauty parlours, go to ugly parlours. That's my recipe for a happy life. Guys marry ugly girls, girls marry poor boys. So, whoever wrote this, really be careful, because this is one thing which I'm very full on. If that partner insists you change your religion, it means they don't really love and respect you. And this is quite true. If you love someone, you love them for who they are. And you'll stand up, stick up. And if it's in Malaysia where it's a bit difficult, move to Singapore or Australia, where you can be a Buddhist married to a Christian or a Muslim or whoever. One couple of disciples over in Singapore. I think she's a Buddhist, he's a Muslim, and their son is a Christian. Trying to get them to have another kid so they can be a Hindu. Get the full set. Why not? Very good. So, whoever this, don't look in the past, whoever wrote this. Present and future, that's all you have. Let that past go. Learning experience. Don't do that again. Thanks for sharing with us the pleasure of meditation. You mentioned that one experienced immense pleasure during deep meditation. So is it possible for one to actually get addicted to that feeling? Like how people get addicted to, say, sex or heroin? Thank you for your time. If you get addicted to sex, then you can't stay with one person. You become an addict. Heroin makes you sick. Get addicted to the pleasure of meditation, and you become enlightened. It's a totally different ballgame. And to answer that question from the sutras, this is from the, I have to say this because some people say, oh, just Ajahn Brahm saying this. This is a Buddha saying in the Pasadika Sutta of the Digha Nikaya. He said, anyone who gets addicted to the pleasure of meditation can experience only one of 4 consequences. There's only 4 things, one of 4 things will happen if you get addicted to the pleasure of meditation. Only one of 4. And those 4 are streaming in, once returning, non-returning, or full enlightenment. The 4 stages of enlightenment. He said this is what happens when you really get into the bliss of meditation. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're meditating for, to become enlightened. So if you really get into and addicted to the pleasures of meditation, that's what it needs to do. Enlightenment. You're supposed to do that. So, no worries. So the only worry is you may lose your hair. Can you please at least do one meta meditation session? Yeah, I can do that, but maybe not this time. We'll see how it goes. What do I do when bad thoughts come into my mind? I sometimes have very evil thoughts and it scares me. Write them down on a piece of paper like this and I'll read them out. Or even better, send them to Steven Spielberg in videos. He might have a movie there. Because people like evil bad thoughts in movies. So, number 1, don't take them seriously. They're just thoughts, that's all. They're not real. Just put space between you and those thoughts. Or you can actually use reverse psychology. See if you can make them work, those thoughts even more evil. See how evil you can get. You can get in there and just make it the evilest thoughts which ever is. Because once you do that, reverse psychology, you find you start laughing at these things. You don't take them so seriously. They're just thoughts, that's all. You may be in a bad mood. You may be just a bit upset or tired. Take a rest, have a cup of tea, and you find those bad thoughts mostly disappear. Don't take them seriously. They're not yours. The emptiness. After focusing on the whole body breathing, I felt my body was energizing with strong energy. My mind was light and full of joy. How can I make further progress? Stop it! That's good enough! Many people will be very happy to get that far. You want to go further? Oh, there's no satisfying some people. If you want to go further, you'll get nowhere. Stay where you are. Don't do anything. And the process will develop by itself. One of my teachers, best similes of meditation, to show that I don't make these things up, this comes from other sources as well. He said his monastery was a mango orchard, where the mango trees were planted by the Buddha. There's no Buddha planted mango trees in Wat Pah Pong in those days. But, he said, that was obviously a simile. He said those mango trees were planted by the Buddha. And now, every one of those mango trees is got thousands of ripe and juicy mangoes. He said, you monks these days, you don't need to throw a stick up to get the mango. You don't need to shake the tree to get the mango. You don't need to climb the tree to get a mango. If you do that, you get no mango. All you need to do to get a mango is to sit perfectly still under the mango tree. Open up your hand. Let a mango will fall into it. That was the absolute most brilliant teaching about Ajahn Chah. That was telling you how to meditate. Don't shake the meditation tree. What should I do next? Go climb up higher and higher. Don't do that. Don't throw things up to try and get things down. Sit perfectly still. Open up your heart. And all these amazing, juicy mangoes of meditation, success, insights, they will all fall into you. You go chasing them, you'll never get anything. So what to do next? Nothing. Stay where you are. Don't want anything. Everything will come to you. Why some monks are not happy with monkhood? I'm not responsible for all the other monks in the world. I've got enough. I think why some monks are not happy with monkhood. It's difficult for some people to become a monk. How many of you have tried temporary ordination? Was it easy? If it was, why did you leave? Sometimes people, especially Chinese people, they're not happy with monkhood because they can't eat in the afternoon. That's the thing. You know, one of my friends, he was an Australian guy, he said, look, I really would like to become a monk, but can I have every Saturday night off? He's being quite honest, you know, he didn't like the monk, but he liked sort of one night a week. Well, you know, you go to work, you have a couple of days off a week, why you have a night? You can't do that as a monk, it's full on. So, the deep answer to this, if you have good meditation, you're happy as a monk. If you don't get deep meditation, it's very tough. You've given up so much. You've given up sex, you've given up food, you've given up movies, watching soccer, whatever else people do in this world. You've given all that up. If you don't get something in return, peace, bliss, and meditation, it's tough for people. Some people do that, it's amazing. They feel they've got meaning, at least they've got some peace in their life. But you know, the ones who got meditation, they're the ones who stay forever. What is
jhana how to achieve it.
Jhana is when you disappear. You are gone. Gone. Daily. Gone. You can't hear anything. Even if somebody shouts at you, you can't hear them. They can pick you up, pull you in the car, and take you back to KL when the retreat is over. And you're still in jhana. When you come out afterwards, hey, I sat meditation in Genting, and now I'm in KL. How did that happen? You don't feel a thing. You are perfectly aware, inside, blissed out. And not, no five senses, just the sixth sense, all that's left. And you don't have to worry about what happened to my body if I'm in jhana. What if somebody thinks I'm dead and they go and cremate me? Because you can be in jhana for 7 days or more. And sometimes they'll open their eyes, that's what doctors do, shine a light in to see if there's any movement in the pupils. If you're in jhana, there'll be no movement at all. They can cremate you, what would happen? Don't worry, because that happened in the time of the Buddha. In the Samyutta Nikaya, they tell about these two villagers walking in the forest. And when they were walking in the jungle, they saw this monk meditating. They thought at first when they came up closer, he wasn't breathing, he wasn't moving. They thought, oh my goodness, the reverend is dead. What should we do? So they thought, well, you know, monks like getting cremated like the Buddha did. There's lots of wood, it's in the forest. So they collected some wood, put the reverend on top, and lit it. They cremated him in the middle of the jungle. And, you know, you're busy people, you've got lots of work to do. So once the fire was lit, you know, they knew he was going to be cremated, off they went to do their jobs. They cremated the Reverend monk. He was only meditating, that's all. He wasn't dead. And the following morning, who would come unarmed round in the village for that reverend? The monk walked in the village and asked him, not even his robe was burnt. Because when you get into jhana, you become invulnerable. So don't worry. If you get into jhana and they try and cremate you, when they open up the oven, hi, it's me again. you just can't be hurt. Well, that actually is true. That actually works. You don't have to worry. You are totally vulnerable. So, if there's a forest fire, or the end of the world, or, you know, somebody tries to blow up Malaysia, meditate. Get into jhana, and after the aircraft is exploding in flames, you're still there. Great way of surviving. It's really cool too. How to achieve it? Let go. People who actually have got jhanas, first one who came to me and sort of started telling me about their experience, I asked them, what did you do? You know what they said? They said, I let go. I really let go. I mean, 100% let go for the first time. The next guy who came and told me he had jhanas, what do you do? I let go. I really let go. Really let go. Now they all say the same thing. Really let go. You don't achieve it. You disappear. And it happens. I find difficulties in meditation. Chanting isn't a form of meditation. No, it isn't. It's just more. Isn't there? It's a bit of making a bit peaceful, but it's only scratching the surface. It's difficult at first, like anything else is difficult in life. You try playing a piano, or you play another musical instrument, or you try and learn some new skill. It's always difficult. How many hours do people spend trying to learn sort of yoga or something? Hour after hour they spend learning how to play a musical instrument. But meditation expects us to come on one retreat, a couple of days, and get enlightened. But this is very deep stuff. But the nice thing about this, once you get the hang of it, it always, even if you're not into jhanas yet, gives you so many benefits, so much happiness. So once you start, it's very hard to stop, and it leads you over many years into the great blisses of meditation.
Difficult at first, but please keep on going. It's worth it. When I attend meditation retreats, it's easy to meditate and calm down. When I'm out of retreat, go back to outside life, it's very difficult to still practice meditation. How do I maintain mindfulness and stillness outside of retreats? Don't leave. Go to retreat. You can't. They the monks and nuns have to do lots of work. So what you learn how to do is at the end of your working day, when you get home, don't take the work home with you. And remember, it's time to rest. And you'll get much more done the next day if you learn how to rest in the evening. Have you got lots of work to do? Is life very stressful in modern day Malaysia? If it is, you have to meditate. One of my friends told me he meditates, he's a businessman, he meditates 1 hour every day, except when he's busy. When he's busy, he meditates 2 hours a day. That's a great saying. When he's got time, he meditates only 1 hour a day. When he's very busy, he's got a lot to do. He has to be really efficient, so he meditates the extra hour to build up the efficiency of his brain. That's how we do it. If you understand its value, then you do more of it at home. Do you believe in ghosts and spirits? If they follow you and make you sick, what should we do? Yes. I've told this at the BGF before. The most dangerous ghost in Malaysia. And it's actually, you see, I don't think it's in this hotel, but it's up the top there. It's called the Bottle Ghost. It lives in bottles. And I've actually seen this myself. I've seen it possess people. Honest. I've seen this bottle ghost possess people. And it makes them speak, not in their normal voice. Really weird voice. They can't even walk in a straight line. And if they drive a car, many of them die. It's alcohol. The bottle goes, and lives with bottles of whiskey and beer. You open the top, and it gets inside of you. It does possession. You speak in really strange ways, it kills many people. That is why we call whiskey, gin, vodka, what do we call them? Spirits. Now that's a ghost I really believe in, the spirits. And you get addicted to that, it does follow you around. It's actually good. This is a hotel which don't have mini bars. Surely they don't serve alcohol in the Buddhist monastery, do they? Good, excellent. So, but what you're talking about is ghosts. Why would a ghost follow you around? Are you that special? They don't. So most of the ghosts and spirits which people say are just little fantasies. If you see anyone like that, first of all, go see a psychologist first of all. That's not right. Go see a psychologist before you go see one. Most of the time, it is just fantasy. There's something going on in the brain, not real. It's very, very rare that you see real ghosts. And if you do see them, all you need to do is scold them. If you look at the levels of existence in Buddhism, is ghost a high realm or low realm? Much lower than human beings. Who's got the most power? Humans. So why are we scared of them? It's absolute stupidity. It's exactly the same reason why elephants are afraid of mice. Now, an elephant can squash a mice, just like that, really quickly. Can a mouse kill an elephant or hurt an elephant? But still the elephants are afraid of mice. Just like stupid human beings are afraid of ghosts. You can squash them. What you need to do, if you see a ghost, you don't want them to get lost. Get out of here. If you don't get out of here, ghost, I am going to tell Ajahn Brahm. Oh please, don't. Ghosts are scared of human beings. And they're terrified of monks. Just like some people may be afraid of a tiger.
a ghost seeing a monk will run them up. We've got the power. They've got hardly anything. So if you do see a ghost, tell them to get out of here. You've got the power. The only thing a ghost can do is make you scared. That's all. So tell them to get lost. Ajahn, why are women born? Because men are born, I suppose. Oh, come on. Is it through their past karma of breaking the third precept? Is it, let's say, is it punishment? Is punishment being born a man? You have to this We have to work really hard. No. This is what the Buddha said. There's no difference between a man and a woman. But there are some differences. We use different toilets, but that's it. There's no real difference there at all. So it's why are women born the same reason men are born? No difference, okay? It's not punishment. There's no men are superior, women are inferior. Don't ever think like that. I know one person once told me in Thailand, when people get married, that you're a woman, a man, two separate animals, two legs each. Once you get married, you become a four-legged animal, like an elephant. And a man is always the front legs, and a woman is always the back legs. But in Thailand, the elephant walks backwards. If you didn't know, there's a lot of truth to that. On the surface, maybe Malaysia, the man is in the front, Chinese tradition, the women's in the back. But who makes all the decisions? Who's really in control? Even in Malaysia, sometimes the elephant walks backwards. So there's no difference there. Please don't get into that. Don't get into guilt trips. Women are no different than men. Both can become fully enlightened. That's why we started nuns and monasteries. So nuns, you don't have to be reborn as a man to become enlightened, okay? You can become enlightened right now. Everything is possible. Totally. Why nun have to practice more precepts than a monk? Because they're higher. Isn't that the case? Why am I sitting up here and you're down? Because I've got more precepts, do I? So if you're bhikkhuni, they've got more precepts, that must be higher. Which is better, the 8 precept or the 5 precept? Hey, they've got more precepts. Which is better, the 5 precept or the no precept? The more precepts, the higher you are. So the nun must be the highest. But just that hasn't worked out. I aspire to become a bhikkhuni someday. Yes, you're probably a man. If you make enough good karma, you can become reborn as a woman next lifetime and become a bhikkhuni. No, I think it's more than seconds. I aspire to become a bhikkhuni someday. Do you have any advice for me now to prepare for that eventuality other than the observance of the 8 precepts of meditation? That's all you need to do. And also, don't get married. If you get married, you're stuck for about 10, 20 years. Especially if you have kids, then you're really stuck. So please, if you want to become a bhikkhuni, sort of keep away from boys. Go to Adipala. Shave off all your hair. Or just go to the dentist, get a few teeth removed, paint it black, whatever it is. So you look ugly and ugly and ugly. And that way you say. Buddhists always said, don't associate with fools. How do you define a fool? Someone who's not Buddhist. Is that okay? How do you define a fool? Some of the things people believe in these days, it's incredible. And sometimes I'm really just amazed that people really think that they've got the right beliefs and religions. Goodness, come to some common sense. Use science. Use reason. Use logic. At least that's something. That was what I think Voltaire said. He said, if God was the author of any book, he was the author of human logic and reason. That's a bit to work it out yourself. Don't be foolish. And don't go follow things like the secrets. That's so foolish.
Due to some business issue, I disagree with my brother, Evil Act. As his elder sister that I've always loved to support him for this time, I choose not to support and agree with him. Okay, so, your brother's done a bad thing to you. But does that make him a bad person? There's one bad act, you can judge a person for some bad thing they did to you. What about all the other things they did in their life? So put it in perspective. You all know that story of the two bad bricks in the wall. If you don't know that, the book's out there, I saw it say. First story in there. Why do we want to destroy a wall? Because of two mistakes. There was thousands and thousands of good bricks in the wall. Why do we want to shun our brother or our sister? Because they made two really bad mistakes, which really hurt us. Please, put that aside. Forgive. For this, he did not want to talk to me anymore for more than 2 years. Oh, that's very nice. That's peaceful. You can still talk to him. Imagine, you can say whatever you like to him, and he can't talk back. That's brilliant. As for my reaction, I still greet him, invite him to my house for dinner. He attends, but still ignores me. That's good. You wear him down. I asked myself many times if today he still wants me to join support for his action. I still prefer not to obey my precept. No, you know, you should say, I disagree with you, but you're my brother, I still love you. I disagree with what you did, but there's more to life than that. We are family. What is over is over. What should I do with his brother? You've got no choice. He's your brother. You can't divorce a brother. Brother for life is stuck with it. So have a look at the two bricks in the wall. That's the solution. Dear Adjourn, is gambling breaking any of the 5, 8, 10, 200 and 300 possibilities? Where are you going tonight? Be very careful. I don't know, did any of you ever read any of the books by Heike Kramer? She was a German nun, a long time ago. She's done many, many nice books. One of her stories, which I got from her, but I checked her attendant at the time who was there when this happened, is an amazing story. She was teaching a meditation retreat in England. And when the meditation retreat was finished, this Australian girl, her name was Anya, she was driving the nun back to Heathrow Airport to take a flight, I don't know, back to Germany or Australia or somewhere. And they had to stop for lunch. You know that month's done, we always have to finish before 12. You can't have any money. So they stopped at a nice restaurant for lunch, somewhere halfway to Heathrow Airport, to be in time. And there's one of these restaurants next to a pub. Now the pubs in England, yeah, they're bars, they serve alcohol, but they're not that rowdy. So you just have to walk to the front of the pub and get to the restaurant at the side. That's what they have to do. So they had the lunch, and nuns eat only the once, so she was still finishing eating. And Anya, the attendant, she said, oh, look, now I've got all this, there's a few British pounds and coins. There's no way you can change those, and she's going overseas, let's get rid of them. There was one of these slot machines. And she was just putting the coins in the slot machine as something to do, waiting for the nun to finish. Putting them in, not winning anything. She get into her last couple of coins. She just put one in the slot machine when the nun walked past. And I got this from both people, corroborated. The attendant said, you have all the good karma, you pull the lever. And in a moment of mindlessness, if you're mindful, you never do that. But just kind of, okay, she pulled the lever. And no joke, the wheels went round, jackpot. For all this money,
was going into the lap of this nun. We're not even allowed to touch it. But oh, it's falling out of the machine. And everyone in the pub put down their drinks and fell silent. The nun had won the jackpot. Now, if a monk or a nun does things like that, there's karma. Something bad's going to happen. The bartender rang the bell and announced to the nun and the attendant, it was the tradition in that pub, if anyone got the jackpot, they had to buy a free round of drinks for everyone in the pub. And that was the first time in 2,500 years an ordained Buddhist person bought whiskies, beers for everyone in the pub. So that's why. No way you're going to make me do that. Imagine you took me up to Genting and I pulled one of those handles. How many people I have to buy whiskies? It's very bad colour. But yeah, gambling is not breaking the precepts, but it's called one of the, they call it the doors to danger. Sometimes you do a little bit of gambling in the office, and maybe a horse race or some cup or something. You just put 10 ringgit here, 20 ringgit. It's just a bit of fun and games. It's not real gambling. Or you may have an auction at a temple. Like we're having, in a few days' time. It's even a raffle sometimes. That's a bit of fun and games. It's not, you're not really gambling trying to win something. It's just, just for a good cause. That's okay. But when you're gambling thinking you're winning something, that's a danger. Because just like a football match, you think that shouting at the TV and shouting at your team is going to help your team win. You really think in gambling that you could beat the odds. You think that you're special. If you go to a temple, that if you give a robe to Ajahn Brahm, that means you're going to have extra luck tonight. It does not, you cannot beat the system. The reason why it's such an expensive resort up the hill there is because of all the stupid people who've lost millions of ringgit up there. The people who run that casino don't do it for charity. They do it because they get money out of all the stupid people who go there. So it's not breaking precepts, but it is the most stupid thing you can do. If you just go up there, okay, you've got 200 ringgit, just have a nice evening. When you spend it, you can go home again. Fine. I've got a few people who do that. They go to the casino in Perth. It's a nice evening out once a year. They go with their friends. They got a certain amount. They go and have a nice dinner, maybe see a show. Spend the rest on gambling. They don't expect to win anything. And then they leave. They never go back again for a year. That's okay. That's a bit of entertainment. But be careful, because some people can't do that. And they get caught. Does Buddha mention gambling in the Vinaya? Yes, he said it's the Abhayamukha, it's the entrance to danger. Thanks, Ajahn, for the guidance. I think we're spending some time in the casino. I have a lot of thoughts and self-talk during meditation. I've mentioned that at the beginning. I have difficulty in calming down my mind. I mentioned that already. I'll keep visualizing the future or things I want to do during meditation. How do I become above? Do the old money happy hook trick. How to forget the deeper caused by superior to the subordinate. You must be the subordinate, otherwise if it's somebody else, that just happens. Now one of the problems with bullying, this is when I gave a talk in Perth about bullying some years ago, it's a very big thing in schools, governments, companies, all come whenever there's hierarchies. It's natural, whenever there's a hierarchy, there's going to be people exploiting their positions of power. Which is one of the reasons in the Buddhist Sangha, there is no hierarchy. Now, even though I'm a very senior monk, the Bodhidharma monastery, I have one vote, and the monk ordained that day gets one vote as well, equal. and everything is done democratically. I am not the all-powerful boss, which means you can't bully anybody. Whatever is hierarchy, it's always going to be bullying someone. That is why modern management, places like Google, is flat management. Teams rather than bosses. So it's really interesting new idea of running businesses. They're far more successful. Unfortunately, sometimes in Malaysia, too traditional, doing old ways of doing things, which are way past their use by date. Flat management works, and it avoids much of the problem of working in an office with a manager who is going to bully you sooner or later. And you will be bullying your subordinates too. You do. Sometimes it's always somebody else's problem. You can see other people's fault, you can't see your own. So one of the things is hierarchies. It's nature. Look at a troop of monkeys. Don't think you're so superior than monkeys. It happens when there's hierarchies. It's also one of the reasons why in schools it's best to separate the years out as much as possible. When I went to school, it was primary school, and there was high school. And high school had about 7 or 8 years. And of course, there would be some people, the big kids, who would always bully the small kids. You can have maybe a junior school, very junior school, middle school, junior high, senior high. That actually helps solve the problem of bullying. When the age difference, power difference, strength difference is not so much. Hierarchy is very bullying. How to overcome fear? Easy. Have no idea of the future. And then, what are you afraid of? You're always afraid of what might happen in the future. When you're just worrying about now, there can be any fear. And number 2, what have you got to lose? Nothing. So, that's why I always think, I'm a man, got no money, got no possessions, so I'm not afraid of robbers. I've got my life, it's actually not my life, I'm going to die anyway. So, get over and done with, want to kill me? Okay. Yeah, it's much better to be killed by a gun. It's very quick. You don't have to have dementia a year after you spend all your latter ages in old people's home. What are you afraid of? Afraid of ghosts? No, ghosts are afraid of you. So you find that all fear is what you think you own and possess being taken away from you. If you don't own anything, there's no fear left. That is one of the reasons why a person who really does become enlightened, who has no idea of herself or ownership, really are never afraid. You know, there was once, I was in a bus in the north of Thailand. This was maybe 30 years ago. And the buses were very old and badly maintained. So much so that a few buses caught on fire. And people could not get out in time. And many people died. And it was in the newspapers. There was a whole run of these buses catching on fire and people not getting out in time and being killed. One of my friends, so Mark was on one of those buses, he got out with his bowl and rode. He had to leave him on a bus and they got incinerated. He was lucky to escape his life. So once, I was in the northeast of Thailand on such an old bus, not very well maintained. And I was in, because they always put the marks in the front. Now that means they're protected from head-on collisions, because we've got good cover. So you had the driver, and then the next seat in the bus was myself. Now I was actually in the aisle seat, and right next to me was by the window seat. And then someone in the back shouted, "Fire! Fire!" And the bus driver slammed on the brakes. And the bus driver, he went out through the window, as did the monk as well. That climate, it sounded like a mess. And all the people rushed out of the bus. Now, this was when I was very young monk. I didn't really understand time. I didn't know what was going on. I hadn't read the newspapers, I didn't know there was all these fires and people dying, so I just sat there. Actually, no, the monkey never went out the window. He went right over me. And you know we're not supposed to touch women? He was just past all the women, he didn't care. And then I just sat there, you know what's going on. So all the people, they exited the bus, and I was left there sitting, and one guy in the back with the last two off the bus. Actually, I never got off the bus. Because the person in the back, he said, oh, it's only a cigarette, it's not a real fire. And all the people had to come in the bus, past me, and they all put their hand up. Sadhu to the Arahat, the enlightened monk. Oh, you are so enlightened. Oh, you're so inspired. Not that other monk who just rushed out. You are so wise. Because I didn't know. The reason I didn't have any fear was not that I was enlightened, because I was stupid. I didn't know what was going on. So I was really stupid. I don't know what's going on. People think you're so brave. So how to overcome fear? Just realize what you are, which is nothing. And be willing to let it go at any time. Then you have nothing to fear. Buddha expands about non-self. Is non-self no self? Yeah, no one's there, for goodness sake. Venerable nothingness. You see? Right here. After focusing on the bright light of the no-step for a long while, oh, you've got a bright light to the no-step for a long while, I felt I was pulled into and sucked into a rapidly spinning whirlpool with very strong wind. What has happened here? Did I make a mistake in meditation? Is this the mind something phenomena that I have realized and see with my mind eyes? You're a cheerful student, thanks. Yes, it's good. If you read some of my books on meditation, get into the deeper stuff, what happens is it's a nimitta, it's a beautiful light which comes up. It's not on the tip of your nose. When that light comes up, it's a mental object, and you get pulled in, please let it go. It looks like it was spiraling like a whirlwind. That's a bit, means you're not peaceful enough. You're strong. Just calm down a bit. Go slow. Allow yourself to get subtle peacefully. So it's just not enough, probably because you're excited or afraid. That is what is supposed to happen when the five senses start to vanish. The mind manifests as a beautiful light in the mind. And don't worry, every one of you in this room will experience that light. You will, if not now, when you die. Have you heard people, they die and float out of the body and they go towards the light. Exactly the same thing. Only when you're doing meditation, you're not dead. This all it is the mind manifesting. Those of you who've read near-death experiences, had them, seen them, or actually seen videos of other people describing their experiences, this is exactly what happens. This is what happens in meditation. When the five senses get very still, and the mind, the sixth sense gets very bright and powerful, this is how it manifests, the beautiful light of the mind. So that's good stuff, well done. And the last, yes. The last question for tonight, saving the best for the last. Oh, there's two questions. Hi Ajahn, could you please explain what influence or lead to the sexual orientation of homosexuality or transgender from the Karma point of view? And being a monk, I know everything about sex. Why do you ask me these questions? From a karmic point of view, a lot of times, it's genetic. They've always, I think somebody did some social research, that if you have a first kid, maybe it was a boy, they're very male. The second kid, the more they're down there, if they're male, the more female they are. The more sort of soft they are, just depending on how many kids you have. It's interesting though, so if you're the third or fourth son in a family, you're more likely to be more feminine. that's just a social thing. And genetically, I don't think anyone's been able to find a homosexual gene, or a female gene, or a male gene, or anything. It's just, I think mostly, this is my theory, it is in your past life. If you were a female in your past life, very strong, you became a male in this life, sometimes there's such a close connection to your past life, you just tend to have that female influence. The reason I say that, because this is one story. There was a couple, close disciples in Perth, that always come to the monastery all the time, Thai couple. And many years ago, maybe about 17, 18 years ago, that they had their first child. They got pregnant, so looked after them, gave them blessings. Had an ultrasound 5 days before birth, but in those 5 days, the baby turned in the womb and cut off the blood supply in the umbilical cord. So it was actually stillborn. Came so close. So it was a fully formed, very healthy looking baby. And because the blood supply had been cut off in the last couple of days, it's just one of those tragic accidents which sometimes happen. It was stillborn. But this was a very good Buddhist couple. So that they weren't so disappointed. It didn't work this time, we'd have another go. But it was a Thai tradition at the funeral, which I did, when I wasn't looking, they got a ballpoint pen and drew a mark, a line, on their dead child's heel. You're not supposed to have birthmarks on that part of the body. They drew a line there, because the idea was, it was a male boy, they called him Charlie. They said, Charlie will probably have another try to come into our life. We know it's Charlie reborn if it has that birthmark. Of course, quite a healthy couple. Next, after a couple of months of rest, healing, she got pregnant again, gave birth to a girl who has the birthmark on her heel. Charlie reborn, but this time was a girl called Annie. And you saw the girl grow up, always beating up the other girls, preferring to stay with the boys. It was what they called tomboy. And she was, we all know why. Because she was a boy before. And so close, she just almost came into existence as a boy. Obviously she died and got reborn pretty quickly. So a bit confused whether she was a girl or a boy, a tomboy. So sometimes that's what happened. There's this other case, which is even more weird. In one of the monasteries in the northeast of Thailand, they had a monkey in the monastery. They saved it from a forest. No, not a forest, it was being abused by some family. Someone brought it and let it loose in their forest. So the monks looked after it, got very friendly. And this monkey, when it was tea time for the monks, the monkey would always come and have tea with the monks and the ajahn. The little monkey, would always be holding his little teacup like that with all the other monks. It was very cute and having his tea, just like all the other monks. They had to put trousers on the monkey, he was a male, to stop him playing with himself. The monkey, okay. But then the monkey was obviously very protective of his friends. His family, the monks. One day it chased the car and got run over and killed. But, of course that's not the end of the story. The head monk, a very good monk, a great meditation, he said he saw, he was meditating, he saw the stream of consciousness of the monkey leave the dead body, go into the village, and enter the tummy of one of the pregnant girls. Now his mistake was he told the monks this story. He said, yeah, I saw the monkey die. He's gone into one of the village girls who was pregnant. He's going to get reborn. And all the monks were waiting to see what would happen. They knew it was a monkey before, now we're getting reborn. And they said to me, I never saw the baby, but they said to me it was the hairiest young baby they'd ever seen. We all know why it was hairy, because it was a monkey before. So if you have any kids who are little monkeys, you know where they came from. They came from junkies. So that's sometimes what happens. So sometimes we do take on some of the characteristics of our previous life. So that sometimes that can be one of the reasons why some men are effeminate, some girls are very tomboyish. Or they can be lesbian. And I've seen lesbian relationships. One is always under male figure in a relationship. People like dressing like men and just taking that sort of role in a relationship. The other one is more the effeminate type. The same the other way. So it's more than likely that previous lives explains that. And two, is homosexual or transgender act unnatural against the universe since it's been committing a sin by other religions? That really offends me. You look in nature, birds, dolphins, there's homosexual relationships in every animal on this planet. So it must be natural. And of course you ask any homosexuals, it's the most natural thing in the world for them. So just because it's not common does not mean it's unnatural. In many places in the West it's totally accepted, and I'm very proud to have many people who are homosexual as members of our Buddhist society. They keep 5 precepts. I'd rather have a committed homosexual than have a heterosexual who's cheating on his wife. One is keeping the precepts, the other one isn't. So homosexuality is fine. And they're some of the greatest people in this world are gay. And there's some of them, these are footballers, rugby stars, tough guys. And they're gay. It's amazing. So at all levels of society, there's nothing wrong with it. So religions which demonize that, the religions are wrong. Because they're being very cruel. Now if there is a God, it has to be a loving God. No one is very cruel. However, in the West, countries like Australia, yeah, homosexuality is accepted as being natural. But you know what they say is being unnatural? Celibacy. Now they say having no sex is unnatural. Ajahn Brahm, you're a deviant. So I was made this claim many times in my talks in Perth. The next time there was a gay and lesbian Mardi Gras in Sydney or Perth, I'm going to ask for a float. Celibate rights. I demand the right to be celibate. And it's natural for some people. Some people don't have to have sex. No, some time ago, if you girls didn't get married, they'd think there was something wrong with you. But now you have the right to be single. You don't need a husband if you don't want one. You don't have to. It's quite natural for some women to be single and enjoy it. It's quite right to have no sex if you enjoy it. So we have this beautiful sense of recognizing the variations between all types of people, races, religions, ages, so people can actually live together in peace and harmony. But it's always the case, I always get into trouble for this, but I always stand up for people who are being abused. Anyone whose human rights are being abused, I will stand up for them. It's obviously that in many countries, homosexuality is being abused. You know, once I gave a talk on that in Singapore, and somebody complained to the Home Office in Singapore, Ajahn Brahm is promoting homosexuality. You know, it was the evangelical Christians did that. Because someone in the Home Office in Singapore, they rang up Aung Ben Chu, you know Aung Ben Chu? Because she's a very well-known Buddhist in Singapore, and said, what's going on? Did that happen? And she was at the talk. He never promoted homosexuality, he said he just wanted people to be at peace. So, when you're at peace, it's quite natural for work to fall off. Just wanted people to be respected. And at that time, it was the Prime Minister of Singapore, it was Goh Chek Tong at the time. And he stated in public, no, homosexuals are welcome in Singapore. They have a great contribution. He said, look, Ajahn Brahm is just saying what the Prime Minister said. And that's when the Home Office said, hang on, what's going on here? And he knew that he complained from the evangelical Christians in Singapore. I was getting too popular. They were trying to silence me. It was actually at that talk, there was a couple of them outside the talk, trying to tell people not to go in. And I'm eventually told, yeah, there's actually a couple outside, trying to stop people going into my talk. I know what's going on now, said the Home Office personnel. So if ever that happens again, don't wait a moment, call the police and have them arrested. I was very proud. I got the Christians right. Of course, must be getting somewhere. A lot of times that's all it really is. And you will find in our modern world that, as the Buddha said, somebody, I think it was actually from Malaysia, wrote to me once, and they said, I found out my son is gay. He's told me, what should I do? I said, look at the Metta Sutta. What does it say? May all beings be happy and well. Does it say all beings except gays? We have this indiscriminate love and respect to all beings, whether they're Muslims, Christians, gays, or whatever. That's one of the beautiful things about Buddhism. Non-discriminating, loving kindness and respect. So I mentioned, I stayed a while on that one because, yes, you are welcome. Gays, lesbians, whoever. Is that wonderful? You know, in my talks over in Indonesia, many Muslims come, and they're actually on the stalls selling my books in their veils. They're beautiful. That's the sort of thing I like to see. Religions working together. If there's any truth anywhere, just go for it. One day, that'll be the one. Okay, I might get into trouble if I go any further. I don't get in trouble, but Victor does. So thank you for listening to all those